Young man, no matter how great.
The sorcerers, are you mad?
I have witnessed suffered at its hand. What's up guys, I'm just turning on the camera, welcome back to a brand new vlog. I just want to point out not a vlog, oh my god, I'm sorry. I just want to point out right here, before I sit down and block it, Lord of the Rings poster. And down there you can see the little circle for Return of the King, which I'll point out a little bit later. I'm going to set up the camera again in a second guys. But when you turn around here looking at me is Samwise. Signed, the only signed photo that I have. Up the top here, 2 Lord of the Rings posters. And then this is my signed and a dwarf version of myself drawn down to here by one of the artists for the Hobbit series. So I just want to put at the offset that Lord of the Rings is a big part of my life and important to me. But I thought it was appropriate to let you guys know that it is a big part of my life. I have a signed book from Sean Astin. I paid to get a book signed, that's how much I care. I have the entire Tolkien trilogy, including The Children of Eberyn, here. So that's why it pains me to make this video today. We have to talk about why the Amazon Lord of the Rings TV series is going to suck. This is not a question, it is a definite thing that's going to happen. Now this is also my first essay video, so I'm reading off of a script just below you guys. I'm not sure how well it's going to work out. You guys let me know, you probably can't even tell I'm looking down a script. So, Lord of the Rings, bad. Let's roll the little title sequence that we got here hopefully, and let's get right into it. So, the main concern here is that Amazon is going to try to make like Game of Thrones and copy its style to have a popular fantasy series. It could end up like Merlin. It doesn't matter how good the budget is or the direction or anything, you know, if everything doesn't come together perfectly, you could end up with a high fantasy series as terrible as Merlin. Now before we get some comments, I actually did enjoy Merlin. It was on Australian TV back in the days when I didn't really use the internet to watch TV at all, so it was good. We didn't have Game of Thrones, we didn't have HBO here, didn't know that Game of Thrones existed. So, Lord of the Rings is long, slow, subtle. We don't need massive battles every episode like Game of Thrones has and the political intrigue and twists. It's boring, is the easiest way to describe it. Lord of the Rings is boring. It's slow camping trips, carrots and potatoes, and as it said, a simple walk into Mordor. You can summarize Lord of the Rings as boring. I shouldn't say I have a script. I apologize for the You can summarize Lord of the Rings as boring because that's really what makes it work. It's not Star Wars. It's more Star Trek. It's high fantasy. That's actually a good analogy. If Game of Thrones is Star Wars, Lord of the Rings is Star Trek in the world of high fantasy compared to sci-fi. This is a series of books written in 1920, if my memory serves me correctly, by Tolkien. And, you know, I've read them all. They're fantastic books. They're very slow. They're like the Game of Thrones books, which annoys me because Game of Thrones was then adapted into a fast-paced TV show. It does not fare well for Lord of the Rings. We will love to see a fast-paced Lord of the Rings show when you say it. Wouldn't you love a Lord of the Rings show that's just the Battle of Helm's Deep and the Battle of Minas Tirith? Yes, that would be interesting. But the only reason those battles were interesting was because of all of the character development and everything else that set up the world. Sorry, my internet just crashed. So Peter Jackson nailed this in his films. He nailed it so well. He put in so much time and energy into making the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit trilogy. He's pretty much dead. Kind of joking, but he literally had health issues during making The Hobbit, and he hasn't made films since, and he has nothing announced to direct in the future. These films destroyed him. That's how big of an endeavour it can be to make this kind of stuff. The extended cuts they released were exactly what they needed to be, with many long drawn-out conversations and scenes with much deeper meaning than you get in many Game of Thrones scenes in the TV show. I'm not critiquing the books, just the TV show. A full adaptation of the Lord of the Rings books would be exactly like this. It would be good. And that's not what they have the rights to. In fact, they have the rights to no books, apparently. Let's talk about specifically what made Lord of the Rings itself good, okay, a little bit. Lord of the Rings built up characters, and Lord of the Rings used character development for the world, for cities, for characters, for places. Minas Tirith was a character in Lord of the Rings, just as Helm's Deep was, just as the race of elves were. Using such good character development on places actually really adds to the show itself. Game of Thrones has things like, oh, we're in the dragon pits. This was a pit to hold dragons. Yeah, no, it looks like a gladiatorial arena. It doesn't look like it was ever a pit to hold dragons. If it was a pit to hold dragons, where's the collapsed entire top half? Anyway, Lord of the Rings doesn't make these mistakes. Lord of the Rings is meticulously crafted with languages and symbols and everything set out, and you have to nail every single part of it. Okay, so in saying that, why is it likely that Lord of the Rings TV show is not going to be good? Because this is Amazon, a streaming company. Even HBO would be hesitant to adapt something with such stoic history. Game of Thrones was well received, but it was not a 90-plus-year-old book series with movies and many adaptations over the years doing it so well. They were the first ones to try it, and they did it. They did Game of Thrones justice. But even in saying that, many people complain about the differences between the book and the show, saying that the books are better, especially with the most recent season. And I'm kind of becoming in that camp while reading the books. So if HBO likely can't pull this off, why would Amazon be able to? Well, they can't. That's what the assumption is here, and that's the point of this video. They have had a few hits like Transparent, which, well, let's not discuss Transparent. Let's leave Tamble's work where it is. But this is an internet company that likely doesn't understand the material. They know that it's popular, and they thought, hey, we could make something similar to Game of Thrones, and ooh, it's finishing up soon, so let's see what we can do. Well, we could buy the rights to Lord of the Rings. How much would that be? $1 billion? Yeah, we've got that kind of money. Yeah, that's the amount being discussed at the moment. 250 for the rights, to be fair, and 750 to make series, which sounds insane, but apparently they're making 6 different series at once. Like Fellowship Part 1, Part 2, Two Towers Part 1, Part 2, Return of the King Part 1, Part 2. And then they're going to see which of the series are worth funding further. That's over $100 million per series, which is insane. Only worthwhile if they air all of those shows. I mean, the budget of Game of Thrones is under $100 million a season. So Amazon's putting a lot of money into this. So yes, Amazon likely wants to recreate the success of Game of Thrones, and as such just spent money buying a property. They don't know what they're doing. They're shoving good people onto it and rushing out a couple of seasons, and they've already agreed to a multi-season deal, which I guess means 6 series, but I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. They've at least agreed to make like 3 seasons of Amazon Lord of the Rings TV, So we're going to see it 2018 at the earliest, 2019, 2020, might even go further than that. And they're investing a lot into this, so is it going to pay off? Again, no, that's the point of this video. Amazon is rushing in my scenario here, and don't comment that Amazon's going to pull it off. You can comment reasons why, but this is part one of a two-part video, more on that in the end. They're going to rush out a Merlin-esque Game of Thrones ripoff and have some success, but not do the material justice. And that's the most unfortunate part, because it's great material and it really deserves to be done justice. 2017 television is very different from anything we've ever seen before. Only HBO is really making a statement with boring fantasy. Everything else is Walking Dead, guns, and CSI, and action, fast-paced, episode-to-episode thriller. That's why Lord of the Rings don't work in this world. Hell, if you adapted the movies, the most popular stuff, the Fellowship season would have to have an hour-long premiere, which would start with a flashback and end with a flashback and have flashbacks in between, but it would be mostly an hour-long birthday party episode. We wouldn't meet the main cast of this series until episode 10, and by episode 21 we would have been split up from the main cast and we would not see them again until the season finale. Can you imagine Friends, where you don't get to the apartment until episode 10, and then by episode 20 everyone's moved into different cities? I mean, it's weird. Game of Thrones kind of did that, but they introduced you all the characters at once. If you just see Sam and Frodo's journey, they get to Rivendell and then they meet everyone else. It's just so boring to start off with when you lay it out like that. So Lord of the Rings itself would not make a good adaptation. They don't have the rights to it. That's not the point. I know they're not adapting the movies. But the point is that Lord of the Rings, in its essence, is not written in a way that can be adapted into a long-form TV series. It works in 4-hour movies very well. It could work in a 6-hour mini-series even better, because they'd be able to cover everything in the books. But not the kind of series that we're talking about here. They're talking at least 12-episode seasons, which is too long. It's too long, and it just doesn't work episode to episode. You need cliffhangers, you need action, you need adventure. That's why they're definitely going to ruin this. So we can all take heart in what we have, because it's going to be ruined pretty soon. And I've said in the past to my friend Eric, who's a massive Lord of the Rings fan just like me, a Lord of the Rings TV show would be good. They should do it. Now is the time. Seeing Game of Thrones. Which is why it's kind of weird that I'm so skeptical straight up. But this is a two-part video, as I said. The second part will be explaining why Amazon is going to nail this Lord of the Rings TV series. So if you want to leave suggestions for that, what they could cover, what it's going to be about, go ahead and do that. I'm actually going to be not even in my house. I'm going to be 320 miles away for a week. So I'm not going to see any of your comments. I will reply to all of them when I get back. So leave your comments down below. Do you think Amazon will make this series good or not? Well, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one in exactly 1 week's time. Leave a comment down below, make sure to leave a like, subscribe so you don't miss that future video with notifications on. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next one.